Every morning, James mopped the floors of Lincoln High in silence unseen, unthanked and unnoticed. But what no one knew was that the man pushing the mop had once carried the weight of an entire battalion, and a secret that would shake the school to its core. The morning sun barely stretches over Lincoln High School. Students file off yellow school buses, laughing, scrolling through their phones, sipping lattes from plastic cups. The sidewalk buzzes with teenage energy. Inside the building, a different world exists. At the far end of the hallway, quiet and dim, the only sound is the soft swish of a mop. James moves slowly, rhythmically, pushing his cart. He's in his 40s, tall but slightly hunched. His navy blue janitor uniform is faded, boots scuffed from years of wear. His hands are rough, fingers worn. He wears no name tag, no smile, and no sign of self-importance. As a group of students walk past, one of them mutters with a smirk, "Smells like bleach and broken dreams." Laughter follows. James doesn't flinch. He nods politely, even though no one ever nods back. To them, he's invisible. Just the janitor. To him, it's another day of work. James has worked at Lincoln High for 6 years. Every morning, he arrives before the principal. Every evening, he leaves after the security guards. He's never missed a day, never raised his voice. He eats lunch in the maintenance closet and spends breaks in solitude. No one knows where he lives or what his story is. Whispers float among students and staff. I think he used to be homeless. Maybe he went to jail and this is all he could get. Sad, just a janitor. At his age, even the teachers don't speak to him, except for Ms. Claire, the kind-hearted English teacher, who sometimes leaves him a cup of hot coffee on his cart with a sticky note that reads, "Thank you for all you do, James." He keeps those notes in his wallet. It was a Friday afternoon. The sky was gray. A storm brewed in the distance. Inside, the final bell had rung. Students lingered for after-school clubs, sports, and detention. James was mopping the east stairwell when it happened. A sharp, shrill sound shattered the calm, the fire alarm. At first, everyone assumed it was a drill, until the smell hit. Smoke. Real, thick, black. Panic, screaming, teachers shouting for students to evacuate. But James, he heard something no one else did. A faint cry. A child's voice. Instinct kicked in. He dropped the mop and bolted toward the sound. As students and teachers fled the building, James ran into the smoke. In the library, Mia, a second grader from the elementary annex who had wandered off during pickup, was trapped. She was huddled under a desk, coughing, clutching a teddy bear. Her pink glasses were fogged with soot. The flames crept closer. She cried out, and then, through the smoke he came, James. He pulled his jacket off, wrapped her in it, lifted her into his arms. The fire licked the bookshelves. The exit was nearly blocked. With the strength of 10 men, he broke the window, shielded Mia with his back, and leapt. They landed hard, but alive. The students outside gasped as he emerged from the smoke-charred, coughing but calm. Sunlight poured from behind, making him look like a figure from a storybook. Mia clung to him, crying. The same kids who mocked him now watched in stunned silence. "He saved her," someone whispered. "The janitor? He saved her." If you're moved by this story so far, take a second to like this video, subscribe for more powerful stories, and share this with someone who needs a reminder. Never judge a book by its cover. Now, back to the story, because what happens next will shock you. The local news picked up the story. School janitor saves girl from fire, ran on TV for days. James refused interviews. He returned to work like nothing happened. But the world didn't move on so easily. One journalist did some digging and found something no one expected. James was once Captain James Everett, a decorated combat medic in the U.S. Army. He had saved over 40 lives in Afghanistan. During a school bombing in Kabul, he had received the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, and a medal from the French government for international aid. So, what happened? After returning home, James battled PTSD. He lost his wife, then his home, then custody of his son. For a few years, he lived out of his truck. He took odd jobs, battled depression, and quietly rebuilt his life. 6 years ago, he took a janitor job at Lincoln High because his son was a student there. He just wanted to be close, to be near, even if they no longer spoke. After the fire, the school held an assembly. The principal, with tears in his eyes, introduced James Everett as a hero. Students clapped. Some cried. Even the sarcastic ones looked ashamed. James stood quietly, shifting his feet, uncomfortable with the attention. He simply said, "You don't need a title to do what's right. Just listen for the ones crying when no one else hears them." That day, Mia's parents offered to pay for his son's college. The school board gave him a permanent position with benefits. Miss Claire gave him a hug. His son walked up to him after the assembly, eyes misty, and said, "Dad, I saw. I'm proud of you." James smiled. For the first time in years, he felt seen. Months passed. James became a beloved figure at Lincoln High. Students now greeted him with smiles. Teachers stopped to talk. Life felt whole again. But then, one afternoon, a man in a dark suit walked into the school office. He handed the secretary an envelope. Inside was a letter from the Department of Education. James Everett was being offered a statewide leadership position. Director of Safety and Crisis Response for Public Schools. 6 figures. Full benefits. Public recognition. When the school called him in to inform him, he smiled sadly and said, "Thank you, but I've already accepted something better." Confused, the principal asked, "Better than that?" James stood, nodded, and said, "Mia's dad owns a construction company. I'm helping him build homes for homeless veterans, starting with one, for me and my son." He walked out of that office with a quiet pride. We often judge people by what they wear, by how they speak, what they do, or what they lack, but everyone is fighting a battle we don't see. Everyone has a story. Kindness doesn't always wear a suit, and heroes don't always look the part. So the next time you pass someone invisible, remember James, and listen for the quiet cries no one else hears.